Hey, and welcome to the Full Weight of Joy podcast, the podcast for women who are done stressing about the weight of the world, of expectations and settling for status quo, and ready to step into the full weight of joy. Joy in the journey, whether up or down, joy through the life's challenges, and joy in loving your life right where you are, even though sometimes we feel like chucking it all and moving to Bali. It's for women who are ready to step into who God called them to be. He chose you to be in this world. He created you for a specific purpose. God called us to be the light on a hill, and by embracing who you are and whose you are, you can stand on that hill and shine. The best part, when you're standing next to another woman who's also on the journey, the world gets brighter. My name is Tami. I am your host and a master certified life coach and a trained therapist. For over a decade, I've been helping women do just that. Step into who they're called to be and shine. Are you ready, friend, to start your journey? Let's do this. Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Tami. I'm your host. I have a great episode for you today. I'm really excited about this one. I have been working the last couple of months on I told you, I've mentioned before how much I love learning. Well, this one is a certification that I just finished. And so now I'm in the growth period of it where I'm learning how to use the tools that come with it. But I wanted to talk about, the process. That's something that I get asked a lot when I get on a call with someone, a clarity call, discovery, whatever you want to call it. When I get a call with someone, they're like, how does this work? And I wanted to talk about that because I don't think that I talk about it enough, about how the step-by-step, the process we go through, what tools do I bring in to coaching? And it's not cheerleading. Like I was a cheerleader in high school. But I don't want to just encourage you. And so I worked on the certification. And the reason why I went through this, because a lot of times, I say education is my favorite form of procrastination. And it used to be. Now I'm very specific because when I start being like, oh, I need to learn more about that, or I need to learn this, or maybe I should go back to school. And I've even been thinking, I was like, well, do I want a doctorate? I realized that those at this point in time, those are distractions. Doing it, learning, so I don't have to do the doing. So I don't have to step into the being part. It's like if you're constantly learning, you can fool yourself to think that you're being productive. Learning's not bad. I love learning. And with this certification, it was different. And it's like, well, why did you do it? And it's like, well, because one of the things that I want to do with my coaching, one thing that I want to serve you is I want to serve you the best way possible. I want to make sure you have the tools. It's not just theories. It's not just ideas that I make up on the spot. I do have some of those. My clients have laughed before when we come up with some let's try this and see if it shakes things up a bit. But the whole idea with coaching is that you get a result that you're looking for, or that you think that you're looking for, or you know that you want. And so there's a purpose. And so this coaching certification that I just finished, it's one that I have been part of this program. I learned a lot of my business, how to do business formation, how to run a business, because as a coach, I don't just coach. I can't wait to get to the part where all I get to do is do my podcast and do the speaking and write the books and coach. And then I can hire someone to do some of the building the funnels and creating the websites and all of that. Because I love the coaching aspect of it. I love the serving aspect of it. But when you're starting a business, you have to do all of it. You have to be the marketer. You have to be the copywriter. You have to be the creator. And so I knew right away that I didn't have the skills, even with having an MBA. So I understood the theories of things, but actually doing them and putting them into play is something that wasn't as natural. And I know part of the reason why I am a coach is when you walk alongside someone who understands, you go faster. You cut out some of the trial and error. There's still missteps. There's still falls. I don't want to say failures again, because failure is not the opposite of success. It gives you more information and you're like, well, that didn't work. Let's try again. The only true failure is not trying at all. He only is staying safe and not willing to get uncomfortable, get messy, and try. And so I was part of this program because I needed to know how can I spend less time on the business stuff and more time doing the stuff that I really love. But I wanted to be more efficient and more productive. And so so I learned about this program called, what is it? This Story Brand. And there was a book called Business Made Simple. And I read it. I actually read it. And then a coach that I hired, she actually sent it to me as a gift. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm on the right track then. And I've been part of the Business Made Simple world for a while. And one of the things that I have noticed with my clients is they all have, this is another area when it's like, what problem do you solve, Tami? What do you do with coaching? And it's true that I help you discover who you are, what you're good at, your core motivations, your core avoidances, the essence of who God called you to be. But it's really hard to like explain that to someone who hasn't been in my world for a while, who hasn't listened to my podcast, or who hasn't, because it's like, why can't you just Google like self-discovery? There's tons of books on it. And it's like, no, we do things a little bit different. And so, hold on, I I went I I went off my notes, and so now I'm on a tangent, and I don't remember where my squirrel brain just went. It'll come back. But anyway, I was talking about what I've seen. So when I work with these women who are all like, they're ambitious, they're strong, whether they identify and they acknowledge that at the very beginning of our coaching session or not, typically they come to me, some of the questions and some they are because I'm numbing out, because I'm managing my life, not living it, because I am reactive instead of proactive. And I want to live and experience my life. I don't want to manage it. I want to be there when my kids have those important moments. I don't want to just be in the room and thinking about something else, and things are going well and I have this need for more. So these are the women, these are the things that they say. And so we start working and we start uncovering and we start digging, and we have fun. Like we the process we go through is a serious process, but it's also, we do it lighthearted. We do it because life is supposed to be fun. We want joy in our life. Well, what I found is that as we are doing part behavioral science, part neuroscience, and part strategy, those are kind of my the three pillars, the three dimensions that we work with. But, and of course, part behavioral science, part neuroscience, and part strategy, and, 100% fun. But as we are going, they uncover that the more that they want is to start something of their own. They want to step in, and whether it's to, support their families financially, or have more freedom in their life, or start a ministry, or start a nonprofit, or start a coaching business, or start writing a book, or start a retreat center. There's the women who come to me have this desire for more. And so I started seeing that trend. And I was like, okay, as I was praying about, okay, how can I support them more? How can I support, like, on this journey, as they're on a journey, I'm on a journey. And so that's when the opportunity came available to be a Business Made Simple certified coach. And so with that, we go through the training and we pay the fees and all of that. And then we get access to these tools. And this is one area that makes me different than others, is the tools that we use to get the transformation you're looking at, like desiring. And again, most of the women who come to me don't know what the outcome looks like. They know what they want to feel like. They know what they don't want. And so through all of this process, that's why I use the behavioral science tools. We use positive psychology. We use the Enneagram to understand our core motivations and our core avoidances, because a lot of times we don't know where to start. And I have discovered that this dives us in quickly. It gives us insight to why we do what we do. And I use it in a little bit different way than a lot. Like, if you can go online and you can research the Enneagram. And you will find a lot of memes. You will find a lot of quotes. You will find a lot of lighthearted or a lot of things. Be careful of the source that you look, because a lot of times that's dubbed the Trendiagram. You cannot boil down the Enneagram to a meme. You cannot, like this, being an Enneagram 1, I love looking at the memes about the Enneagram 1 and all how we're particular, how we are always striving for perfection, how we are paralyzed when we don't get our way, things like this. That's not, I don't relate to all of that, especially now as I've done this self work. So I use it in a way that we can get to the heart of your heart. We get to the heart of what are your reactions? Because if we want to stop being reactive and we want to be proactive, we need to know what our reactions are. We need to know why we are doing what we're doing. And so I use the Enneagram and I use Clifton Strengths Finders, because after we've discovered our weaknesses, and we start there because as naturally we have a negativity bias. This is proven by science and psychology, showing that humans naturally tend to the negative. We naturally understand and we're willing to accept the negative, or maybe not even accept is the right word. We're willing to embrace, not embrace because we don't like it, but it keeps us safe. We think negative, we see our negative aspects. And so when we identify which ones are the most important to us, our core motivations and core avoidances, then we can get down to, okay, how has that served us? How do we want to use these? How is this our thorn in the side that keeps us connected to God? So that's how I use the Enneagram. And then I partner it with Clifton Strengths Finder. This is where you find what are your top strengths. Because a lot of times, women, we have so many strengths and we don't know what they are. Our friends can help us with this. One of the tools that I use, one of the activities that we do is I talk to my clients and I go and talk to your friends about what they come to you for. And by doing that, and if you haven't done that, it is vulnerable, it's bold. And you can also say, hey, my coach asked me to do this. So you can throw the blame but it's uplifting, and it's realizing that what my friends come to me for and need me for, it just reinforces that the value. It's validating, and it's like, oh, I am good at that. I didn't even realize that that's something that I offered to my friends naturally, because we take for granted some of the things that come naturally, that it's so easy for us that we overlook them. But something that's easy for us isn't easy for other people. The other aspect of that, so if you're going to take that challenge, go and talk to your friends, offer it back to them and say, this is why I come to you. This is some of the strengths that I see in you. So give them that gift. And even maybe you want to start with that. Say, hey, my coach said I need to do this. If you wouldn't mind doing it for me, I would really appreciate it. And you can see, excuse me. But then, we take that, and then that's when the neuroscience comes in. And we start diving into the subconscious beliefs. This is where a lot of coaches get it wrong. A lot of well-meaning mindset people get it wrong, because you can't just tell yourself to think different, and you do. If you could, you would have already been cured. You would have already had everything you want. Everything is awesome in the quote of Lego. We have to actually look at what some of the subconscious beliefs are. And so we use a tool. We use, an overarching, I call it a thought ladder. And then there's tools within there that we can dive into, and we specifically use to help uncover our subconscious beliefs. Then we get to look and see what is true, because our subconscious beliefs, just because it's a belief, doesn't mean it's true. Doesn't mean that it's helping us be successful. Doesn't mean that we need to believe that anymore, that we don't need to stay safe in that way. A lot of times those thoughts were put into your mind, caught by your brain before the age of 5. And they're actually saying before the age of 2 now. And you're not the same person. You're a little bit stronger. You have a little bit better picture of the world and what works for you, what doesn't, how to protect yourself, how to be successful than when you were 5. Just a little bit. But we use that, and then we start to refute those with truth. What does the evidence say? It's not just I want to, I want to be a kind person, so I just think, think kind thoughts, or I want to be more grateful, so I just tell myself to, I just tell myself every morning to be thankful for all my challenges. There's more to it than that. And so through a process, we go through and we rewire, and then we start to wire in the truth, those the beliefs that we want to hold or that we know that are true. And so we do that. And then of course there's the strategy part. Because without a strategy, without a plan, we can just be going all over. And this is where this is where having master's degrees, this is like the formal education has helped me create the strategies. There's a plan we walk through, there's a framework, and there's a framework within the framework, and each person, we emphasize different ones based on what they need. And so so this is where this new certification really comes in, because now I have these clients who are like, okay, Tami, I didn't realize I had this God-sized dream and vision inside of my heart, and I'm afraid to say it. And so we start talking about it. We start talking about the impact that they can make. We start talking about it gets to the point where like, of course, that's the next step. And so I'm so excited about this. And I've been becoming a certified business coach, not to just add another notch on my belt and add another thing to my credential list. It's because now I have additional tools that I can walk my clients through, that I can, another level of service that I get to share with them to help them see the God dream that they have come to fruition, come to life. So they don't just discover their purpose, but they live it. Your purpose is too important to live in a reactive life. The calling you have and your gifts that you have, the strengths, what makes you, the essence of you, is too important and too needed in this world that we stay in reactive mode, that we stay on autopilot, that we stay in this mindset that we're constant chaos. It's always about the crisis of the day or the crisis of the week. I have a podcast episode, I think probably the first year of the podcast, talking about the cows and the livestock and fishes. That is one thing I joke about, because it's all, don't live in with the livestock and fishes. It's not about the cows, the crisis of the weeks, and the cod, the crisis of the days. Like we want to, there's always things happening, but we don't have to be reactive. We can be proactive. And by understanding our core avoidances, our reactions, by understanding our strengths, by seeing how God wired us, by seeing what He's highlighted, by seeing the strengths and the skills that we have learned and adapted over our lifetime, that is why all of a sudden we have that freedom to talk about our God dream. We all have one inside of us. He wants to partner with you. This dream that you may not know how it comes about, which the how is less important. Like it's crazy how the how of a dream is only about 20% of the dream. It's the who do you need to be? Who did God create you to be? And what's the impact you can make when you're willing to get uncomfortable? But with discomfort comes growing, it comes refining, and it becomes satisfaction and fulfillment and joy. And so why did I spend this whole episode talking about process and my certifications? Like, who cares? I do, because my purpose, my God dream, is to see women step into the light, step into and shine their purpose and become who they are called to be, because we are living in a world that is full of like darkness. And honestly, I think it's a little easier to shine brighter now than before, because people are searching for goodness. And your dream that you have, no matter what it is, whether it's to work with kids, work with adults, work with the elderly, whether it's to write a book or start a business or impact, start a ministry, start a Bible study, if like give yourself that gift of sitting with God for a few moments and say, open up that door that's holding my God dream, that God-sized vision, and start to give me a glimpse of what it could be. And when you're ready, then let's talk about it. Let's see what's possible and let's discover, because whether you know what your dream is or not, we start with that. Let's figure out who God created you to be. Let's clear the clutter. Let's clear those old expectations. Let's clear the safety nets and the armor that we've been putting up to protect ourselves from getting hurt, from failing, from falling, from being seen as, well, as, what will people say? What I've come to realize is people have got a lot to say, whether they understand, whether they take time to understand what's going on or what you're doing or not. People can be hurtful, and not everyone is. People can really also help when you start to say out loud. They also can breathe life into the stream. If it wasn't for me talking to my friend Laura and talking about how I have this scary dream of speaking on a stage, and her saying, I totally see that. I'm like, what? I've never spoken anything. Like I have the fear of public speaking. And she's like, well, if God's told you, he'll figure it out for you. And now I get to do that. And it does still scare me, but it also invigorates me. I see how like this God dream has come about, and how I have stepped and stepped and stepped and misstepped and misstepped, but kept going, and he directed my path. And how even every misstep, I met someone along the way, or I saw something different. So none of that is wasted. I try different things and they fail. They do not work. As I'm looking, and I was talking to my friend Beth, who is also a neuro coach. And I was like, Beth, like, what am I supposed to be doing here? And she's like, well, you have more clarity. And she's like, just, you keep going. That's what you do. What do you tell your clients? You keep going. Your purpose, your life is too important to stop, to not get clear, to not discover your purpose and live it. I want you to just get a glimpse of how amazing you are. And when we start to clear the clutter, when we start to remove things that no longer serve us, and you start to see what God has been highlighting to you, you start to see your strengths and the weaknesses of like how people around you compensate for those weaknesses, or how those help you stay connected to God. Things shift, things change, the energy, the joy that you feel, just the excitement that happens. And this weight is lifted, this weight of the world is lifted, and you get to step into the weight of joy, the full weight of joy. And so, friend, I want to talk to you about this. I want to help you. I want to help you dream. I want you to get on a call with me. And I know there's typically 1,000 people who listen to the episodes. And so 1,000 calls are a lot, but you know what? Hey, it's not for everyone, right? But if you've been listening to this and you have a stir, I want you to get on a call with me. There's a link in the show notes to book a call directly. You'll be talking to me. We'll talk about, and we're going to be talking about you. I'm just going to give you the space to start talking about what's in your heart. I'll just ask you questions to see what we can discover, what's possible. I just want to give you that gift. And I want it because when someone gave that to me, when they listened to me talk about this crazy thing that I have on my heart, chains started to break. And I started to have a vision, see the future of what my God dream could be. And it doesn't look like, I had no idea that a podcast was going to be part of my stage. I had no idea that going around the world, speaking and encouraging women and inspiring them to take control of their thoughts and step into who they're called to be. I didn't know that was part of it. And it's such an amazing journey to walk on it. And I cannot tell you enough how important it is for you to go on it as well. It's not about me, friends. I did it. I can show you how to. I can cut out some of the missteps. I can give you some of the strategy. I can give you some of the inspiration. I can give you the tools. I can walk you through. But you've got to say yes to yourself. You get to decide if you're going to go all in. So get on a call with me. Let's talk about what's possible, and let's see who you were created to be, and make an impact, and figure out what this more is. that's inside you. All right, friend. With that, choose joy until joy chooses you, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.